Welcome back. Welcome back. So in this part two, we're going to talk a little bit about value and how to figure out the value on these shoes and what they're worth. So I actually did a little write up here. So you get the Loke Trinity is 399 pounds or $600 if you buy it in the US market. The Paul Sargent is 440 pounds, but I think that includes VAT because it's 488 without VAT for the US market. The Crockett and Jones Westbourne is $495, but $725 if it's for the U.S. market. The George Cleverly Adam, you can get it for $700 through Mr. Porter, or $726.19 through George Cleverly Direct. The St. James, it's 990 pounds plus VAT, or $1340 if you want the sapphire blue patina. They only have it in this particular last in black on the site, or you can get it on the TJ73 in antique red. But if you do want extra other colors, then you have to use this. And then for the Canterbury from Edward Green, it's $965. Gosh, I don't know why it just won't focus. There you go. And that is without VAT. This color is not there either, so you would have to customize it, but they don't have the ability to price it out on their site. You have to call and figure that out. Normally, it's about 200 to 300 pounds to do any customization at all. Now I got these on sale. These two were on sale because they were discontinuing the color. So, you know, I always look for sales. Obviously, I buy a lot of shoes, so every little penny saved can make a big difference. So as we look at this, though, so how do we decide how much these are worth, right? Because if we just try to stick to pounds, right? So you have $399, $440, $495, figure 600, $990, and $965, right? So for the purpose of value, we'll just do this. So it's in a clockwork like this, right? So now as we think about that, what are you paying for, right? Now this Loke, this is, you know, top of the line for Loke. It is open channel, right, which we talked about before, but mostly what it is, in my opinion, and again, this is my opinion, this is not, I'm not an expert when it comes to this, but I think that Loke is a factory-made shoe. They use a lot of the leather from a single hide to make shoes. So they're making they're making more shoes from a piece of leather than, in my opinion, most of the others are, right? And so that's why they're able to offer such competitive pricing. They do take a lot of care and they do a lot with the soles, but the sole material on this is not the degree of quality on any of the others here. The craftsmanship on it, and this is all machine done. Everything on here is machine done. It's machine lasted, it's machine welted, the whole 9 yards. And so that is, in my opinion, why we're starting at that price. Now, you know, Paul Sargent uses a lot of machines in their factory. They guide them by hand, just like a lot of the others do. But there are telltale signs of things that are different, right? Now, this is probably machine lasted, okay? Just looking at it, if we open it up, you can see there's no nail holes there. This is, there are some nail holes. So it could be hand lasted, but that's a question. But it is definitely machine welted. It is definitely machine finished. Now the machine work that's done on it is very good, okay? But you know, the stitch density here is very different than it is here. So you're talking about, hey, maybe with this shoe I can make 10 pairs an hour. With this shoe I can make 5 pairs an hour, okay? Now that's a gross exaggeration. I have no idea what the actual production numbers are, but it is a big difference, and that difference does have a cost. Now, neither of the top of the welts are finished. Obviously, the bottom of the soles on these are finished, and are finished nicely. They also have a better waist, so that is another piece that you have to consider. Now, when you get into the Crockett & Jones is a much bigger factory. Their leather is more exclusive to them, so they're able to do a higher quality of leather, a higher quality of soles. The stitch density here is still phenomenal. They just do really, really nice work at Crockett & Jones. And you know, there's a reason why people are willing to pay more for the shoes. They are better. Now, this is open channel. If you look at these two shoes compared to each other, which one would I buy if I could only have one? I would probably buy the Paul Sargent, but I really, really like my Crockett and Jones. I feel like it's a really good staple part of my collection. So, but I do think that for the value, I mean, even if we're only talking about 50 pounds difference, I think this is a little bit higher value. But the Crockett and Jones is still a good value for what it is. And I don't begrudge them being able to make the money. Now, the markup between 495 pounds and $725 is not really justified, in my opinion. I think if you just do a direct currency conversion, that's 650. So I think it's a little bit on the high side, but that's my opinion. And, you know, they're probably paying for... I'd love to say that they're including free shipping in that, but I've bought shoes from Crockett and Jones direct before. You don't get free shipping at all. So that is something that's there. Now, this, being George Cleverly, has a little bit difference in the overall piece than the Alfred Sargent. As we said before, you know, we think it's made by Alfred Sargent. The quality of the craftsmanship, the quality of the fiddleback, the painting, all that stuff costs extra money. I think the leathers are unique to George Cleverly, and very, very nice. Really do like that. It's one of my favorite grain leathers that's out there, and I really do appreciate it. Now, it's not skived and stuff like you'll see on the higher end, but they are charging a pretty penny more for it, and you know, at $726 or $700. But not a lot, right? If you think this is just 50 pounds more than this, and this is at 725, then 726 for this, there's no question between the Adam and the Crockett and Jones, I would get the Adam. Okay, now maybe that's just me, but there you go. Now, when you get into the Edward Green and you get into the Gassiano and Girling, you know, the quality of the workmanship is a lot higher, and the quality of the leather is better too. Now, I want to be clear. None of these have bad leather. None. These are all really, really good. They're all pound for pound good or better than anything else I've seen in the world, right? But, you know, as I've listened to interviews with different shoemakers, I believe Edward Green and Gassiano and Girling use a lot less than they use a lot less of the skin to make the shoes. They're much more particular in what they make it from. These are hand clicked, okay? Meaning that somebody's actually going and manually cutting the leather. I think this is done by machine. I'm not sure about the others, but I wouldn't be surprised if they were done by machine. But these I know are done by hand, and that is a fine difference. They're hand skived. They're machine sewn. All of it's machine sewn. But the care taken to choose the leather, to choose the components, to make sure that it's all top quality components in each part of the shoe, that is worth something to me. The care that they make on the proportions. Here again, you can see that little part here in better lighting where I thought it was damaged, and it's not. It's just superficial on there. But this is very, very tight. This stitching on the top of the welt here is as tight as many of my hand-stitched shoes. And that's really saying something. One of my colleagues on YouTube did a video not too long ago where he had a pair of Edward Greens that he was resoling, and you know, he likes to reuse the welt stitches. He said it was 13 stitches per inch on this pair of Edward Green. Now, for a machine stitching, that's incredible. It's incredibly hard to recraft for him using the stitches, and it's incredibly hard for them to do that with that level of consistency in the factory. So pretty exciting stuff. Again, you're paying the extra, you know, 250 to 450 to 500 pounds. You're paying that because you want everything to be absolutely perfect on the shoe, and that's what they're doing. That's what they're delivering. Okay, you don't pay that for the double sole. You don't pay that for the you know, the closed channel, right? You pay that for the materials and for the time. Think about it. If they can put one of these shoes out every 4 hours, okay? Now, I don't know that that's a real number or not, but if it takes them 4 hours for that shoe and it takes them 10 hours for this shoe, then paying twice as much means less profit for the factory. An interesting thought, right? Now let's get into Gaziano and Girling. Now they spend a lot more time on the dyeing. They spend a lot of time on the leather, right? And most importantly, in my mind, they use very, very high quality on the soles. The soles feel like no other shoes that I have, right? They're just softer, they're nicer, they wear really well, but they feel like butter, okay? And the Edward Greens are a really close second, but Gaziano and Girling really does stand alone in this respect. And, you know, I would say that 1, 2, 3, 4, and I would say that across all my shoes, right? They're really, I mean, these English Adelaides are really representative of top quality in the entire market. Now, there are some that are tied, okay? My Mecariellos are tied. My Acmes are tied. My St. Crispins are tied, but none are better. And none are better than these, and these are a very, very close second. So as we think through how this is set up, right, you're paying more because it's top quality components, and for Gaziano and Girling, you're paying more because it looks better. These shoes just look better than any other shoes out there, and you're paying for something that is really unique to them. Now, I will do a shoe battle, and I will compare these off to my ones from Mecariello, and it's going to be tight, but I really, really appreciate the beauty in these particular shoes, and I do think that that's what you pay for. So this is Wisconsin Shoe Guy. That is a talk about value and how I separate the value out on these shoes. I'm sure that it was not 100% satisfying to everybody. At the end of the day, I'm not going to be able to pound for pound justify the cost of these shoes. These are expensive shoes, but I do think that they're worth it. I think the differentiation in quality is worth paying for. And I do think that each of these has their own line on quality that is easy to understand and worth paying for. Thanks again for watching. This is Wisconsin Shoe Guy. I'm out. Look forward to your comments below.